What's happening, guys? Today I want to answer the question that I get asked quite frequently, and that is, should you weigh your meats before or after cooking them? Okay, as always, like any video that I've ever done, the answer is, it depends, right? Always it depends. Now, if the question was phrased a little bit differently and the question was, what's the most accurate way to measure your meats? Then the answer would be before cooking, all right? Like, let's say, for instance, you're cooking up some chicken breast. Your chicken breast could easily lose around 25% of its weight through water. And if you want to get the most accurate reading, then you measure your chicken before, cook it up, and eat it. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way to do it. It's just the most accurate way to do it. And me personally, I don't like to do it that way. I find it horribly inconvenient and just way too big of a pain in the butt for me. And to me, it's just not worth it. Now, if I was in, say, contest prep, if I was going to do a show and I just had to be really strict and on top of things, then I would probably do things this way. But I don't have to do that, and not very many people do, all right? If you're just tracking your macros and you're not that hardcore into a prep, then I feel like there's a better solution. At least for my own personal life. Everyone's different. If you don't mind weighing ahead of time, it will be more accurate. For me, the reason I think it's a pain in the butt is especially because I eat a lot of chicken, all right? I'm a flexible dieter, but I eat a lot of boneless, skinless chicken breast, all right? I like it. I think it tastes good. It's very macro friendly. I can get my protein in without a lot of calories, and it just makes my life easier. And I can cook a bunch of it up ahead of time and just have it around for when I need more protein, all right? If I'm not sure what to eat, or if I'm not feeling like making another meal, I can just grab a chicken breast, throw it in the microwave, and eat it. But if you're measuring your foods or your meats ahead of time, well, you would have to like mark every single chicken breast that you put in there, right? Like, this one is 8 ounces, this one is 6 ounces, this one is 10 ounces, all right? Like, keeping track of it would just be a nightmare. So for me, what I do with all of my different meats is I use the USDA database entry for cooked versions of these meats, all right? So you can go, and I will put a link in the description below that you can use, and you can use this website to look up all the different things you could ever possibly want to look up, really. So you can look up cooked chicken, you can look up raw, all right? You can look up different ways of cooking different things, all right? Like, pretty much everything you could think of is out there, and it will give you what the actual macros are. Now, it will not be as accurate. No, all right? Once it's cooked, there's some variability, all right? It will not be as spot on, but it's good enough, man. Especially if you eat it a lot. Like, if it's something you eat like every single day, it doesn't really even matter what the macros are. It's just that you're consistent with the way that you track it. You know what I mean? Like, because you're going to make adjustments based on how things are going anyway. So if you ate 6 ounces of chicken every single day of your life, don't recommend it, but let's just say, for instance, you did that. You could call 6 ounces of chicken 3,000 freaking calories, and it wouldn't matter, right? Because you're doing it every single day, and you're going to make adjustments based on the number of calories that you're eating versus the results that you're getting, right? Like, it doesn't matter. So the biggest thing is to be consistent. So what I do is, what I did a while back was I took all the different meats that I could pretty much ever want to eat, everything that we usually eat on a somewhat typical basis. You know, your chickens, we eat a lot of 90-10 beef, 93-7 ground turkey, pork, all these different things, right? And I looked up the values of them cooked on the USDA database, and then I created entries for my own inside of MyFitnessPal that I could use, all right? And then once I entered them the one time, then they were in there forever. And every time I go in to enter these meats into my database or into my tracker, it's always there. So it took a little extra work ahead of time, but it set me up for just making things so much easier moving forward. So now every time we cook a dinner, if it's pork, I can just put on however many ounces. If I want 5 ounces of pork, I throw it on there. I use the 5 ounce cooked USDA database entry, and I go with it, all right? So we don't have to worry about measuring it ahead of time. How much should I cut off? How much should I be using, all right? It doesn't matter. You just always use the cooked. It's so much easier to weigh it after it's cooked. And if you make a lot of it and you're gonna go into the fridge and you're gonna eat more later, you can cut off however much you want for that day, for that meal, I mean. And it just makes things much simpler. So if you wanna simplify things, use that database, do it as cooked. It'll make things a lot easier, and it's gonna be close enough. Like, unless you need to be super strict for whatever reason, in my opinion, that's good enough. But if you wanna be accurate, weigh it ahead of time before you cook it, and just make sure you keep an eye on which piece it is so you get the right one, right? All right, hopefully that was helpful. Any questions, as always, let me know, and I will talk to you guys later.
I'm addicted to the love that you're giving. Every minute, every day I've been craving